everybody? My name's Eric Hopkins, and this is my good buddy Brandon. I keep doing that the wrong direction, but we're here tonight to go over pro wrestling this week, and mainly AEW Dynamite. But before we do that, let's get into our weekly Mike's Wrestling Fun Facts and Trivia segment. This is our 28th edition of this trivia segment here, and we're going to go over a trivia question that our good friend Mike has sent in for us here. We're going to be doing our pro wrestling segments separate from our movie segments going forward to kind of break it up a little bit. That way the videos ain't quite so long, in my opinion. So, well, that way you guys, if you don't like pro wrestling, you can watch the movie stuff. If you do, by all means, check out this wrestling show here every Thursday. With that being said, I think he sent in a trivia question in regards to yet another AEW superstar, or I think it was a recent signing, as a matter of fact. So let's go check out his trivia question, and we'll let you know what we think about it. Here we go.
Okay, so in keeping with my promise to do some trivia on AEW's current wrestlers, I wanted to do trivia this week on one of their newest signees, that being the one and only Jay Lethal. Now, Jay Lethal has had quite the career. He is, to my knowledge, the only Grand Slam winner in the history of Ring of Honor wrestling, having been a world champion, a world tag champion, a world television champion, and holder of the ROH Pure Championship. Now, my introduction to Jay Lethal actually came through TNA Wrestling, which of course is now Impact Wrestling.
Mine too.
There he would have his most famous gimmick of Black Machismo, paying tribute to the Macho Man Randy Savage, one of his idols. In TNA, he would be a one-time World Tag Team Champion and a multi-time X Division Champion. Now, my question for you guys is this. How many times did Jay Lethal hold the X Division Championship?
Oh.
Was it 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, or 7 times?
You see answers for you.
And if you feel like it, can you tell me who is the current SmackDown superstar that was Jay Lethal's tag team partner in winning the World Tag Team titles? You can either give me his SmackDown name or what he went under while he was in TNA.
Man.
Hope you all are having a fabulous week. Hope Brandon is having himself one hell of a birthday.
Yeah.
And I hope that you enjoyed the question there, Black Machise Yo. Hopefully you and White Machise No will be able to answer this one.
Brother.
Y'all have a great week, and I will see you again next time.
I'm Black Machise Yo.
You got it, big dog.
Yeah, well, Black Machise No. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 6 times, and I am trying to think of who his tag partner was in TNA.
I'm having a hard time just remembering who's on the SmackDown roster right now because I haven't been watching SmackDown, and of course they just had their draft not too long ago. So I'm trying to remember who on their roster could even be in TNA at the time. God, you say it's 6 times though? Really? You think that many times? I know that X Division.
He was there for a while.
It made the rounds. I know that, but 6 seems like a lot though. You know, just to be different, I'll go 4. Now, as for his partner, you know, my first thought immediately went to R-Truth, but I think he's on Raw. But
yeah, but no, because R-Truth around the time that Lethal was there, either he was gone or he was with the Voodoo Kin Mafia. So,
see, I couldn't even tell you who
or 3 Live Crew, whatever you want to call them.
See, I've really got to get cut on my TNA. For Impact now, I suppose. Apollo Crews was probably never in. He's on.
Xavier Woods, is he on Raw or SmackDown?
He's on SmackDown. That'd be a good guess.
Yeah, Xavier Woods. At the time, Austin Creed.
Yeah, that's.
Or
I mean, that's probably
Consequences
Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anybody else who it would be. I may bum off your homework here, but I mean, Kofi was never in TNA that I can recall.
That's the only person I can think of, and I may be completely wrong here, but I know Xavier was there for a bit, and I want to say he was there around the time that Lethal was.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, I can't think. Of who else it
Consequences
would be.
Creed is my answer.
Okay.
AKA Austin Creed, AKA Xavier Woods.
Yeah, I mean, if I could think of anybody else on the roster who I think would have even been there, but I can't, so I'm going to
I
go with that
can't.
too.
Yeah, I can't. I'm.
All right, so I'll say 4 times for the X Division champ, 6 times for you, and I guess we'll both go with Consequences Creed or Xavier Woods. So let's see what the email answer here is. He said Jay Lethal would win the TNA X Division championship a total of 6 times in his career, so you nailed it on your birthday. What a gift there, buddy. His first reign would be his shortest when he defeated Chris Sabin on June 17, 2007 at Slammiversary, and then dropped the title at the June 19th Impact TV taping to Samoa Joe 2 days later. That's insane. The title change aired on June 21st, though, so he had about 4-day reign there. His longest would be his second reign, lasting 134 days. As for his TNA Tag Champion partner, Lethal would team up with Consequences Creed, better known as King Xavier Woods. King Woods now. They defeated Beer Money, James Storms, and Robert Roode, which was Beer Money, by the way, was a underrated tag team in my opinion.
It was. They were.
At the December 16, 2008 Impact tapings, which aired on January 8, 2009. How he keeps all this straight is beyond me. They would lose them 26 days later back to Beer Money at the Genesis pay-per-view on January 11th in a triple threat match that also included the team of Matt Morgan and Abyss. So technically their reign on TV was only 3 days. Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, they filmed it almost about a half a month in advance, but yeah, another short reign. But, wow, good on you, buddy. I mean, you definitely see a little bit more TNA wrestling than I have.
Yeah, there was a stretch in my time where that was all I watched. And I couldn't tell you why, but I did.
Well, back then, though, they were putting on some pretty decent shows. I mean, with Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle
came, and he made it his mission to destroy the X Division. And, oh, man, some of those matches were fucking crazy.
I remember when they got them on the Fight app or something like that now. No, they got an Impact app, which you can actually go back. You can watch like a live feed for free, and if you pay for it, you can actually get some access to the old stuff, kind of like the WWE Network used to be. So I might actually get into that a little bit because some of that stuff with the 6-sided ring, I really enjoyed.
Fucking amazing, dude! It was so cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know. I was like, I was seriously racking my brain on this one. I'm like, oh.
Did a lot better job than I did. I was like, yeah, we'll just copy Brandon this week. You know, we'll go with that. He copies my answers half the time, so yeah, turnabout's fair play. So yeah, but yeah, very good question this week. So yeah, Jay Lethal, I'm looking forward to see if he'll do some more stuff in AEW. I think he signed a deal, but it appears so far at least like it's kind of like they'll use him, you know, sporadically. Maybe he'll do some other stuff. Some of these guys they sign, which is weird to me because AEW does sign a lot of talent, but a lot of the talent they do sign ends up working in other independent scenes, New Japan. Impact, you know, AAA, whatever it might be. So they don't always all work on the main AEW. Brand,
which is good because they still earn a paycheck.
Yeah, that's true, and they have at least an income, so that's good, especially with today's marketed wrestling. It's starting to become a little bit more competitive about where to actually get jobs. So especially with one company letting a lot of people go, and other ones have a limited amount of budget they can actually sign them for. So good to see him getting a job. But hopefully we'll see more of Jay Lethal. But I know for me, the Black Machismo stuff, and of course the woo off with Ric Flair is the thing that sticks out most in my head about.
I've seen Jay Lethal, a couple independents. A few ROH shows I watched. So I was exposed to him like long before he made it to TNA. Wow. The same with Ricochet.
Gosh.
Long before he got to where he was, even in Lucha Underground, as Prince Puma.
That was the name I was trying to think of. Yeah. I want to see them do so much more with him too, but I just feel like they're not going to WWE. But maybe one day, you know, maybe he'll break out and go.
I think if
elsewhere.
he goes, he'll probably go back to New Japan. Will Ospreay's still there?
Yeah.
So he could go to AEW, make a killing at AEW.
Yeah. Go to Impact. You go a lot of places. I mean, and you know, who knows how Ring of Honor is going to end up being next year with the rebrand or whatever they're doing.
See, I think that's so crappy though. Yeah. You let all these guys go just to rebrand. Like, why not keep them? You know, they're names that people are familiar with. never mind. It's not my business. You know what I mean? I'm just, but a guy like Jay Lethal, who has been with you guys through ups and downs, from door open to door close.
Yeah. And then everybody got let go. It wasn't just him. So
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, he has also said that he feels like he'll be with AEW to the day they close now because he's that loyal. So we'll see how they use him. I want to see him more. They haven't really used him much more outside of that one match against Sammy Guevara, but it was a good match, and I hope they'll show him a lot more. And we'll just have to wait and see what they do with it. All right. With that being said, we'll move on to our AEW Dynamite review for this week for December 8th, 2021. The show was from Long Island, New York, which is MJF's hometown. So they had a little bit of fun with that to start out the show. MJF's music hit to start the program, and of course the crowd went nuts for MJF. A lot of people were wondering, will Long Island cheer for him or will they boo him because of, it's MJF? Well, when MJF's music hit, out walked CM Punk. So they pulled the swerve to get the crowd angry at Punk right away, and Punk was loving every second of this. He got a rather mixed reaction in MJF's hometown. I wouldn't call it mixed. He got booed out the building when he walked out to that music. But he proceeded to taunt the hometown fans. He was definitely playing the heel here. He received a he revealed that he was wearing a 4 Pillars t-shirt underneath his hoodie, but it was Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, who's the other one? There's 4 of them. So Sammy Guevara, and instead of MJF, it was replaced by Britt Baker. So again, trolling the crowd, trolling MJF here. So this was very well done. He called MJF an incel before reminding the fans that MJF ran away the last time they squared up. But yeah, definitely making fun of the New York Islanders, the hockey team, talking about how they can't win. I mean, he was pulling all the heel tactics in the book out at this crowd. And of course, they were hating him more and more for it. And he was just smiling from ear to ear, talking about how if they were in a real city like Chicago, he would have been a lot better time, things like that. So anyhow, next week, Punk will have his eyes on the AEW World Championship match between Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson, he said. Before that happens, he and MJF need to settle things. He said his dog Larry has more balls than MJF, and he's neutered, which is his dog who MJF threatened to kill last week. So Punk wants MJF to stand up and fight, and if that's who the fans back, they're all chicken shit, just like MJF. So yeah, definitely. I mean, he turned heel almost faster than Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson here in this segment. Now, obviously, I think this is a one-night thing. Obviously, since they're in MJF's hometown, so I don't think that Bryan Danielson is going to be heel going forward, because he was still doing some, things like later on after this next match, he come out to kind of confront MJF, and of course, MJF kind of hightailed it again in typical MJF fashion. So for one night, I think they just did a good job because they knew the reaction MJF was going to get. So after a commercial break, MJF got a detailed entrance video vignette. He pulled up to his old high school in a Ferrari as a voiceover hailed him as Long Island hero and listed his accomplishments. He was the only wrestler to get a full entrance for the Battle Royal. So when he walked out onto his old high school football field, they were going over how he was a linebacker and how he was like a collegiate wrestler or something. I can't remember everything they listed, but at the very end, they said that, and oh yeah, of course, he got all the ladies in school too. I know that's hard to believe, but anyway, they really were playing up MJF here and his accomplishments as a younger man and things like that. So that led to the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale, 3rd year in a row. Obviously, the first 2 years, MJF won the Dynamite Diamond ring as he's been, kissing before all of his entrances and things like that. So yeah, a lot of guys in this match. None of the main eventers per se, but we did have like Wardlow, Matt Hardy. Jay Lethal was actually in this match, so we did get a little bit more of him here. We also got Dante Martin, Leo Rush, who faced off and were knocked down by Wardlow and Hobbs, because you remember Dante Martin has now joined Team Taz. But Wardlow and Hobbs had a power battle. Wardlow nearly eliminated Hobbs before a front flip kick from Leo Rush sealed the deal and eliminated Wardlow, as a matter of fact. Starks and Rush battled it out before commercial. Once again, I'm sorry, he eliminated Hobbs, not Wardlow. Once back from the break, though, Wardlow and MJF were swarmed by the other competitors in the match. Rush and Johnson tried to eliminate Wardlow, but MJF came up and eliminated all 3 of them, including Wardlow. MJF took out Wardlow in this Battle Royale. Wardlow did not look happy. So yeah.
For ever since the whole Brian Pillman Jr. thing, we've talked about how Wardlow is getting more. No, I take that back. It was even before then.
Mhm.
It was after. It started when it was Wardlow versus Jake Hager.
Yeah.
It started then,
Mhm.
and you could slowly see this whole dissension. I can't really call it dissension. It's kind of the divide, or Wardlow starting to realize that MJF is really this worm, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, uh, and the further you go along, he's going to break apart. Now, this is one thing that WWE used to do
Mhm.
that they turned away from, or moved on from, I guess is the best term.
Right.
That AEW does, and I believe they do it because that's the way it used to be done. I mean, that's when, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's where you have a main story, but along with that main story, there's all these branching
Mhm.
arcs,
Which gives every storyline depth.
which
Yeah.
brings, and now we're starting to see where this could branch off.
Yeah.
You
And I
know,
have a theory.
with Wardlow and MJF.
Well, and we're going to get to the end of this match here in just a second. Spinning off from the end of this match, I got a theory where it could be going here. So the finals in this here were MJF, Dante Martin, and Ricky Starks, the final three. So the final two men in this battle royal will face off next week for the Dynamite Diamond ring. So it's not going to be a clear-cut winner tonight. So it appeared that Team Taz had a 2-on-1 advantage, Ricky Starks and Dante Martin versus MJF. But then out of nowhere, Dante Martin turned on Ricky Starks and eliminated him. So just from behind, threw Ricky Starks right out the ring. So now it's going to be MJF versus Dante Martin next week for the Dynamite Diamond ring. So what do you think is going to happen in that match? Will CM Punk get involved? Or my theory
Is Wardlow does.
Wardlow. Maybe now is the time they pull that trigger. Now, Wardlow or MJF and CM Punk are going to have their match, but maybe Wardlow costs MJF the Dynamite ring, and that gives it to Dante Martin, who's kind of in between right now, kind of doing whatever the hell he feels like at the moment. Kind of feels like not really aligning with anybody. So he could use that ring to his advantage. It makes some sense to give it to him. And if you set up the Wardlow thing costing MJF that, MJF will still wrestle Punk. If that's the case, Punk may beat MJF, setting up Punk for Hangman or Bryan, whoever wins. But my assumption would be Hangman, and then Punk can continue to kind of play that heel gimmick a little bit.
But
Then you set up MJF versus Wardlow after that. That's my theory, but could be dead wrong. Maybe CM Punk costs him the ring, just furthers that, and then Wardlow's still further down the line. Either way would work for me, but. Yeah, I mean, part of me would rather see MJF versus Hangman before Punk versus Hangman, because I kind of would maybe rather see Punk go up against a heel champ, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So if Punk's going to get a title shot, he's probably going to have to be the heel in it. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on where that could go other than that, or?
I think your second theory is more likely.
With MJF?
I think Punk causes him to lose. But it's because you're gonna have to have a significant meaning. Maybe it's the Punk and MJF match that Wardlow is supposed to do a distraction, but ultimately it's what causes him to lose.
Yeah,
MJF to lose, and then you have the next following Dynamite. MJF comes out and basically starts berating Punk, obviously, but then also turns his attention to Wardlow. And during this verbal assault, Wardlow maybe snatches the mic from him or something.
Yeah.
And cuts a promo. And then MJF, kind of laughs in his face because, it's the best stick man right there. Starts talking crap or whatever, and then have Wardlow deck his ass.
It could. I mean, this could also play it a little bit, too, because after the match, MJF raised Dante Martin's hand, playing a babyface here, actually. Starks ran back in and attacked Dante Martin as MJF started to leave the ringside area. MJF looked on conflicted from the stage. Should I go help Dante Martin or should I not? He starts to turn to walk away like MJF would, and then he ran back to the ring and looked like, and he got in Ricky Stark's face, like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you beating up Dante Martin? But just when you think MJF was going to help Dante Martin, that's when MJF and Ricky Starks beat up Dante Martin at the same time. There was a swerve error, of course, MJF being the total douche that he is. So that caused CM Punk to run back down, and MJF bailed out of the ring as Dante hit Starks with an enziguri, and Punk hit Starks with a GTS to stand tall. So could this possibly be leading to a tag team match too?
Yeah.
I don't know if Ricky Starks would team with MJF per se, but maybe. All I know is, it definitely was interesting to see, because I really liked how they played with the fact that MJF was acting like a babyface here in front of his home crowd because he was getting cheered. And then right when you think he's going to help him, no, he turns on him, and they both put the boots to him. So I thought that was pretty hilarious. So good job on AEW's part, I think, playing to the crowd that they were at. And I thought that was really, really well done. So that's good to see. We'll see where this all goes, but there's a lot of places they could take it. So that's a good thing. Next up, we had Jurassic Express and the Varsity Blondes in an 8-man tag. They defeated the Acclaimed and 2.0. Caster missed the mic drop, and Jungle Boy locked on the snare trap for the submission victory here. Pretty fun match here. Eddie Kingston ran down and attacked 2.0 after they've been kind of having a beef with him on Rampage a little bit the last few weeks as well. No Chris Jericho tonight. He's obviously on tour, I think, with Fozzy at this point. They wrote him off last week, but I'm sure he'll come back at some point and get involved with this whole Eddie Kingston storyline that's going on as well. Don't know if it'll lead to a tag team match against 2.0, or if it'll just lead to Jericho and Kingston one-on-one, most likely. But definitely setting up stuff for that. I'm not sure exactly when they're going to do that. It doesn't sound like it's going to be next week at Winter is Coming, but they do have a Battle of the Belts, I think, pay-per-view coming up in early January, so that could be where they do it. They also announced the date for AEW Revolution tonight. That will be on Sunday, March 6th, I believe is what they said. So that's coming up here in the next few months. After the match, Eddie Kingston brought a camera backstage and called for a fight. Ortiz tried to talk him down, but 2.0 and Garcia attacked them and left them laying. So it looks like Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz probably against 2.0 and Garcia coming up here before too much longer. So it'll be a 6-man tag is my assumption. We'll see what happens. Then we had FTR and Tully Blanchard were backstage. Tully talked up FTR's accomplishments, and Cash said that the Lucha Brothers' one victory over them was a mistake. Dax said this Friday night's tag title match is the biggest match of their career. So I'm guessing Rey Fenix is back. He was injured last week, was unable to defend the AEW World Tag Team Championships on Rampage, so they had Pac wrestle in his place. So it sounds like we're going to finally get that match. I don't know if it's going to be 2 out of 3 falls or not like it was originally scheduled to be. We'll just have to wait and see. Then we had the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, with Adam Cole and Brandon Cutler at ringside. They defeated Chaos, the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor, and Rocky Romero, with Orange Cassidy at ringside. Let's just all boil down to Nick attacked Rocky with an X Factor, but ran into Soul Food from Chuck. Matt went for multiple Northern Lights suplexes, but Rocky turned it into a DDT. Cutler distracted the official, and Cole tried to get involved, but Orange Cassidy cut him off with his weak strikes from behind on Cole. Nick then crushed Orange Cassidy with a super kick. Orange Cassidy, again, kind of looking like an idiot here. This is 2 weeks in a row. He's kind of like, you should be smarter than this, and instead of goofing around, go for the kill. But Brandon Cutler inadvertently cold sprayed Matt in the face. He did that whole thing where he sprayed him and froze, and he kept spraying him in the face again. Rocky jackknifed Matt, but Nick broke up the pin in the nick of time. Matt countered sliced bread into a tombstone position, but Rocky Romero cradled out of it for a fantastic backslide near fall. Matt pump handled Romero into a perfect Meltzer driver position, and the Bucks hit it for the win here. But the big story came after the match. Super Click and Brandon Cutler beat down the others after the match. Wheeler Yuta ran down, but was immediately knocked down by Adam Cole. Cole then hit the Panama Sunrise on Orange Cassidy, so it looks like we're going to get Orange versus Adam Cole, I'm assuming, at some point. They're definitely building that up. The Super Click set up for a 3-way BTE trigger, but then the Best Friends music played, and Mama Sue drove up in her minivan with Trent. A returning Trent comes back here in tow. Trent had a shaved head, making his return after spinal surgery, so good to see him back. And he's had a rough go of it, man, over the last few years here with some injuries, so good to see him there. He's in tremendous shape, I might add. He looked absolutely good. Trent appeared, he speared Cutler on the ramp, I should say, and took out Matt and Adam Cole with lariats before dispatching Nick Jackson with a half-and-half suplex. The Best Friends all hugged to end the segment as Rocky's Roppongi Vice theme played. So maybe an 8-man tag. That's what I got to think of. Yeah.
Here, so I get, I introduced a colleague of ours at work, a friend of ours at work, Josh, to a member of Chaos by the name of Okada.
Yeah. Yeah, he was saying something about that to me the other day. Yeah.
So he comes up to me today and he's like, Okada's coming to AEW. I said, first of all,
it's coming.
You may be right.
I
But the only reason Okada is going to be there is going to be for Omega.
Yeah, it'll be a big match, whatever it is. Yeah.
So I said, whenever Omega comes back, and then you have this moment of where, they're all in the ring against, if they keep pushing the storyline against Chaos, then yes, at some point you will hear the coin drop, and then that crowd will explode because Okada is a huge name. Whether it's in New Japan, you know who Okada is. He'll get the same reaction or then some that Suzuki got.
Yeah.
But it won't happen until Omega comes back.
Now, I tend to agree with you. However, I think there is another guy that you could do it with.
Nakamura.
Well, yeah, but in AEW, I'm just saying, because you're doing this whole feud with the Elite or the Super Click, Adam Cole. Adam Cole versus Okada could be where they go with this eventually.
Sure. It just depends on how long Omega's going to be going.
Yeah. If he's only gone until maybe early next year, maybe they hold off on it. But then again, they've already built up that tension between Adam Cole and Omega when Omega left. So who's to say Omega comes back and is a member of the Elite anymore? He may be on his own.
No, I think Cole will be out before Omega.
That could be too, especially with Kyle O'Reilly ending his tenure on NXT most likely this week. We still got to wait to see what Johnny Gargano's status is, but that's a little NXT talk. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know, but yeah, they've been throwing Okada's name out there enough where I think they've got some sort of plan in mind. Who? I don't know.
All he wants to see is Red Omega.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, first of all, if it happened, you ain't gonna get that reaction. Okay, JR's not saying it like that.
I bet Excalibur would try.
He would try, but it ain't gonna be the same.
No, it's not gonna come off the same.
Like
but,
when we used to watch the New Japan stuff. None of the Americans would say it like that, but you could always hear the Japanese announcer in the background when it happened lose his fucking mind. And he would scream, Red Omega! That was the best to me.
What if it's Bryan Danielson? I mean, you'd have to set that up. They've not really gone that route, but he'll be done with the Hangman by then, for sure.
Could.
I mean, that'd be a match. I mean, I'm just saying.
But why would Bryan interject himself in a situation?
Well, I mean, if he still runs with the heel gimmick, I'm assuming Okada would come as a face.
For sure.
But
why would he interject himself with the Click? Like, he doesn't even like the Super
Well, like we're talking, it could be months down the road. That whole Super Click thing may be done by then. We don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of things they could do with Okada. Hopefully, he'll have more than one match with some of these guys. That'd be great. But it's just too coincidental to me that they keep mentioning him and putting the Best Friends in the Chaos faction stable.
Well, that's because in actuality, Rocky Romero and Trent were part of Chaos.
Yeah. So makes some sense.
So it's not like there's no credence to it. I mean, they were part of Chaos,
right?
In New Japan. So yeah.
But immediate future, though, do you think 4 members of the Super Click against the 4 members
There's
of the
other
Best Friends?
members, yeah. I mean,
it'd have to be Brandon Cutler with the Bucks, most likely, and Cole, because with Omega out, But and then you could do Trent, Chuck, Wheeler, and Orange.
Yeah.
Or Rocky, or whatever you want to do. So there are things you could do with that, but. The Super Click don't have a lady, but you got Chris Statlander as well. But there's things you could do with it. I'm just saying. I mean, it sounds like that's where we're going for the time being, or at least Orange and Adam Cole for sure.
Now, this is me just going off the top of my head here, and I have nothing to base this off of whatsoever. But it's just something that when I was talking to Josh about it today, it kind of dawned on me. Asuka.
Yeah, where's she, man? I don't know.
She'd be a great fit.
With all these cuts going on, and the fact I think she might be hurt.
I think she is too. I think she's
But I'm
back
just
home.
saying, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these cuts come again, and we may get yet another round at some point. It wouldn't stun me, but they did use her some, maybe not the best way in WWE. But if she was
Early on,
become available,
she was
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
just
still waiting
later.
on AEW to sign Ember Moon whenever her 90 days is up. And things
Oh
like that,
man,
too.
that's happening.
That's going to happen. I have no doubt in my mind.
Because I don't see Ember going to TNA. I don't.
That AEW's
Hell,
women division could use.
I think Liv's time's up too.
Oh yeah, and I know everybody online. Oh, you got to wait and see. Let it play out with Liv Morgan.
I think Liv
I'm sorry.
Morgan's done.
Liv Morgan may get another title shot at day one, but in my opinion, she'll either lose again or if she wins the title, it'll be very short-lived because they're not going to let Liv Morgan carry that belt into WrestleMania. That's going to be Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks or somebody like that. And after that, Liv Morgan will be back, kind of like where Bianca Belair is right now. So
that's trash.
It's a shame, but yeah, you might be right. Liv Morgan may be joining the rest of her Riot Squad members on the unemployment line or in AEW at some point. So let's wait and see.
I don't blame her.
Speaking of the Riot Squad, though, up next we had Ruby Soho. She was interviewed backstage, but was immediately interrupted by the Bunny and Penelope Ford. They said that Nyla Rose had promised them title shots when she wins the TBS Championship, so they tried to attack Ruby Soho here. Soho attacked them first, but was surprised by Nyla Rose. That's when Anna Jay and Ty Conti chased them off. So 6-woman tag. It seems like that's the way we're going. And then, of course, yeah, a lot of 8-man, 6-man tags possibly set up here, but definitely Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho in the tournament first and foremost. But we may get something in between that and the tournament match. Then we had Sammy Guevara was out on the stage and about to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone, but was immediately interrupted by Cody Rhodes' music, who announced that Cody Rhodes came out and announced that Sammy Guevara would defend the TNT Championship against him on Christmas night. They're doing a special, I believe, Dynamite show Christmas night on Saturday, December 25th, and his open challenge is going to be against Cody, which got a big boo from the crowd because, of course,
Cody.
people hate. Yeah, and not only that, when Cody he went to leave, he walked off, but he started to go toward the heel ramp, and then, oh my bad, he then turned around and went back up the face ramp. So Cody definitely trolling the crowd here, but that's when Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky interrupted from the stands. Page was frustrated by the open challenge aspect of this whole thing, accusing Cody of nepotism. He thanked Dan Lambert for getting him his title match and announced that he would return. So I'm guessing he's going to be challenging Sammy Guevara, probably on a normal Dynamite. That's the way I understood it. And Cody will get the shot on Christmas night. So at least it'll be a good match. I would assume Cody put Sammy over here. I mean, you're not going to take the belt off Sammy, but it was.
Man!
But it's interesting to me because Cody held the TNT title and he did these open challenges as well. So it kind of makes some narrative sense to put him here and to kind of get Sammy over by going through Cody. So I think that's what they're going to do. But if they don't, do you think the crowd hates Cody now? We'll see what they do. But yeah, I think that's what they're going to do though. Scorpio Sky said Guevara would face anyone except guys ranked in the top 5. He told Guevara to prove he's a champion, and Guevara was ready for a match. So, yeah, we're definitely getting that at some point soon. Then we had a Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill tournament hype video that played, which was immediately followed by Riho versus Jamie Hayter. Riho defeated Jamie Hayter here. This match was very physical between these two ladies. Poor Riho was getting crushed up and down this match, no doubt about it. But of course, Riho being the valiant babyface here, climbed the ropes once again toward the end of the match, but Hayter met her at the top. Riho fought her off, but Rebel interfered with the official distracted, allowing Hayter to go for a top rope Samoan drop. Riho turned it into an avalanche crucifix bomb. Then the Samato finished Hayter off for the 3 count here. So basically this all led to after the match where Britt Baker attacked Riho and beat her down and put her in the lockjaw. So yeah, definitely leading toward Riho and Britt Baker once again because Riho beat her the first or every time they've wrestled actually. But I think whenever Riho gets this championship match, Britt Baker gets her win over Riho finally. So all of it leading to that as well. And of course, still kind of little teases here and there of Jamie Hayter not, probably going to be doing the Wardlow thing and breaking away from Britt Baker at some point too. So let's see where they go. Then we had the Rampage lineup for this week. It'll be the Lucha Bros versus FTR for the World Tag Titles. Ruby Soho, Ty Conti, Anna Jay versus Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, and Bunny. So there's that 6-woman tag that they set up. Adam Cole versus Wheeler Yuta. And because Taz was so livid that Dante Martin turned on him earlier in the show, he announced that his boy Hook is going to be getting his AEW debut finally versus Fuego del Sol on Rampage this week. So he said he's pulling the big guns out, and we're finally going to get to see what his son Hook has. So a lot of people in the internet wrestling community has been touting Hook for a long time. I've never seen this kid wrestle.
I've never seen him wrestle either.
We're going to find out this Friday night on Rampage, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure he's going to demolish Fuego del Sol.
I want him to be what Taz was in ECW.
Well, he may very well get it because he was not happy about this Dante Martin thing, and he swore to get him back for turning his back on the contract that he signed for Team Taz. Then they ran down the card.
What does that got to do with Fuego del Sol, though?
Just a guy to take out their frustrations on, I think. Poor Fuego. Hey, man, you got your brand new car. At one point, I think Sammy Guevara gave you. You got your contract, but you're about to eat it here, kid.
But who knows?
Time out. I'm sure he'll get some offense in.
I did not. I just looked at your name.
Yeah, I know. Right? I've been kind of doing this funny
I'm
thing. Like
sorry.
Last week it was gain 5 pounds on Thanksgiving, and now I'm just having a little fun with it. Kind of like Adam Hangman Page and his little things at the top of his interests. I'm gonna have a little fun with it if I can think of something every week. So Brandon's birthday was today. Mine is next week. So yeah, we're very close together there. Not in years. I got him beat in years, but anyhow.
You got him beat.
But winter's
Only
coming lineup.
You only
Not
got
much.
like 2 years essentially.
Yeah, it's a couple years. It's not much, but yeah, we're the same time of the year though, for sure. Winter's coming next Wednesday night. Is their kind of annual mini pay-per-view on Dynamite. We're going to get the Dynamite Diamond Ring match: MJF versus Dante Martin, Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. Serena Deeb, who cost Shida her match in the TBS tournament, she's going to finally get her hands on Deeb here for that. And of course, the AEW World Championship: Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson. And I'm sure we'll be getting probably some more announcements on Rampage this week as well. Then we had a weird segment, in my opinion. We had the Varsity Blondes and Julia Hart. They were interviewed on stage, but the lights immediately went out. And when the lights came back on, Malachi Black was standing in front of them, and he had his mask on. He took his mask off, then he immediately sprayed Julia Hart with black mist, and she screamed bloody murder as the lights went out again. When the lights came back on, Malachi was gone, and Julia Hart was acting like she was blind. Well, she wasn't acting like she couldn't see, but like she was just selling the effects of the mist. So I don't know where they're going here with that, but that was really odd. Just out of nowhere, Malachi attacks the Varsity Blondes, valet here. So interesting.
I mean, he's picking a fight now with Varsity.
He's picking a fight. At least they're moving on to something else. Good. Same with Cody. They're moving on.
Brian Pillman's, a great one to go after. I'm not saying his partner. I forget his name.
Griff Garrison.
Gillicuddy. Or no.
Griff Garrison.
Griff Garrison. It'll be good for these guys to do some one-on-ones. So right now, the tag titles are kind of tied up in the whole thing with Lucha Brothers and FTR.
And so, Andrade's kind of got this thing with Pac a little bit at times.
So
but maybe
some
Andrade.
single stuff right now wouldn't kill him. I thought he looked great in that singles match he had against MJF too.
What if Malachi does some recruiting for the House of Black too? I mean, that's always a possibility. But right now, I think you're right. I think some single stuff. Maybe these two guys, maybe they're just fed to Malachi to kind of get Malachi over some more, a little bit here and there. Now, it was just interesting the way my first thought was when he sprayed Julia with the mist. Maybe it was going to be something to kind of bring her into his side of things, maybe turn her dark. But I could be dead wrong on that. That was just a thought I had. But as of right now, just like she was selling the effects of it. We'll see where they go with this, but I'm intrigued, no doubt. Then we had the main event already through the show here for the most part. Bryan Danielson versus Johnny Hungy, John Silver himself. Again, just like all these Dark Order matches that Bryan Danielson's been having over the last month or so, very good match by all the Dark Order members as a singles competitor. So I'm very happy to see John Silver, Alan Angels, Preston Vance, all these guys get a chance to shine. Colt Cabana as well. All these guys getting a chance that we've even talked about here on the channel about how we'd like to see more out of these Dark Order guys. I think
I want them because I want them to be taken serious, and I think this is a good way to go about it. When you have somebody who's like Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson,
that's gonna take a while to get used to.
Yeah, which is weird because that was his original name.
Yeah.
When you have somebody like Bryan Danielson, who is a very serious person, especially once the bell rings. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, he may crack the jokes on the mic or whatever. That smile that he does, that little cocky ass, I want to kick him in the face smile.
the one thing that Bryan Danielson's doing a lot right now that I really enjoy is whenever he's got a guy in the ropes and he's like beating him down, and the ref's going 1, 2, he stops and he goes, "I got till 5," right in the ref's face every time. I love it. He's just.
I think that's
just,
an old
yeah.
callback in ROH. Honestly, American Dragon. Well, yeah, he's going by the American Dragon, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still going by the American Dragon now. Yep, yeah. That's just funny because he sticks that hand right in the ref's face. I got till 5. It's just, it's amazing.
So I told you before, because for the longest time they were a joke, which was this weird juxtaposition as to where they were that night they debuted and showed up at All Out or All In. Yeah,
something like that.
the first show.
Yeah.
And they came in
now it's all
and
out,
just laid waste. You know, and it was like, who the hell are these guys?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now the whole Brody thing put a step on that a little bit, but I think that they still have potential to do that yet again. Whenever they want to turn them that way. Right now, they're baby faces.
But as a baby face, they should be taken seriously. Not every baby face should be a joke.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what
that's
I mean?
True. And if you ever seen their 8-man tags, they all these men can go. We've just now seen it individually.
Damn good at it too.
Yeah, they're great, especially Johnny Hungy in my opinion.
Yeah,
Evil Uno's great too. They're all good.
I like John Silver too.
Yeah, I mean.
And who's the dude? He has the hashes on his chest.
That's 10, Preston Vance.
I like him too.
Yeah. So they're all good. And Alan Angels had a good showing about a week or so ago. So it's just one of those things where it's good to see.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying before. This is what I want to see them do something more has more weight to it. And this is good. This is a good step in the right direction.
I ain't gonna lie though, I for the longest time there, I was expecting Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt to show up and be the leader again of the Dark, because it seems like, yes, Evil Uno's kind of the pseudo leader, or -1, I guess they kind of say on Dark, he's kind of the leader. But because he was such good friends with Brody Lee, I felt like that was where they were going. Now Brody Lee, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, I believe, is able to come over to AEW whenever he wants now. I believe his 90 days are up, I believe. But there has been stuff going around the online that I think he's kind of been doing a little, maybe some movie roles or some little things. But then again, who's to know what he's doing? But he's filming something. Could be something for a wrestling return. I don't know. But I just, my confidence in him actually coming here and leading the Dark Order is starting to wane a bit. I don't know if it's going to happen now.
Even if he comes,
I hope so.
I don't think it will be that.
And I would
love for, honestly, I would like to see. I know the Fiend was great, but I kind of miss the old cult leader. I miss the Hawaiian shirts and the fedora hats.
The Eater of Worlds.
That whole gimmick to me was fucking dope.
I just got a feeling if he were to show up in AEW or another wrestling company, wherever he might go, it'll be something completely new. It won't be something he's done before, which I'm perfectly fine with that. And I still hope that maybe they could do that with the Dark Order. But if they don't, I'm sure he could do something great on his own. There was talk going around that he didn't really want to go anywhere without his friend Braun Strowman. I don't know if I want him in AEW personally, but he's just kind of rubbed me the wrong way since some of his comments about independent scenes and things like that over the years. Yeah. But I mean, obviously he's a physical specimen, no doubt about it. But
isn't he in TNA?
There was talk. I don't know if he ever did sign with them or not. Maybe he did. If he did, I'm my bad. But
sure.
He might have. But I know Jonah, I think, showed up at. I think he showed up in New Japan even. The former the guy from NXT, the big guy. Oh gosh, what's his name?
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed, thank you. He's now going as Jonah. Jonah Rock, I think maybe.
Yeah, he cut a little promo, or he did an interview where he said that NXT isn't what Triple H.
No,
it's not Triple H's vision anymore.
No, I know Shawn Michaels has been saying, well, we're holding the fort down until Hunter comes back, but I
don't think Hunter's coming back.
If he comes back, he's not going to be in a creative role. He's not going to be running the show like he was. He'll be there to toe the company line. That's what you
can see the defeat on that man's face.
It's just a shame because
that was his baby. That was his.
I still have this. I just feel in my gut that a lot of the things that happened with NXT is what caused him to have his heart issue. I just have this feeling because he knew it was crumbling. There was nothing he could do about it. It wasn't his company, unfortunately. I still feel like Triple H got robbed or that short end of that stick. But that notwithstanding, there are a few things that I think the current NXT is doing well, Braun Breaker in particular.
There are some silver linings.
There are, and
but
there's
it's
always
still
going to be.
Makes you wonder what it would have been like if he'd given the assets that are there currently now or that are there now.
Yeah.
Still being ran the way it was.
I mean, when you got guys like Scotty 2 Hotty, who was I believe a backstage producer or whatnot, requesting his release from the company. Beth Phoenix has now left NXT as well, saying it's because she needs to spend more time with family. But then you got multiple reports of people backstage saying it's just not as fun as it used to be anymore. It's become the main roster now, so that's why you got these people leaving NXT. Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, they're all just departing and getting fired. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they're going to be leaving soon. I have no doubt in my mind. Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, still up in the air, but I feel like he's leaving still. A lot of people feel like they wouldn't have done what they did at the end of NXT if he was going to leave. They kind of had him get beat up by Grayson Waller, but they gave him a full goodbye speech. So many people feel like since they gave him that speech, he's still going to come back. I feel like he still got laid out just like Kyle O'Reilly did. So it's kind of left more ambiguous with Gargano. Gargano is going to be, if he wants to come back, he's got Grayson Waller waiting on him, or he can go to the main roster. But if he decides to leave, they also wrote him out that way too. So I feel like they did that intentionally because they don't quite know what's going to go on with Gargano yet. He's got a baby coming in February. He'll probably take some time off. But all these people online saying he's definitely staying or he's definitely leaving. The bottom line is we don't know right now. And O'Reilly, we pretty well know, especially when on the War Games pay-per-view, he's doing the Undisputed Era symbol. I think we all know he's going to AEW to join Adam Cole and Bobby Fish. But we'll see where Gargano goes. But that notwithstanding,
it's the same with Kevin Owens. You can see it on his face.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. Sami Zayn, his contract, I believe, ends at the end of December, and Kevin Owens is at the end of January. So both of those guys will most likely have 90-day non-compete clauses. But Kevin Owens, even Omega on Twitter has talked about, he's been showing pictures of when he beat Kevin Steen, as Owens was known as before, and Omega even said that he feels like he'd like to have a part 3 go around with this, with the best in, Kenny Omega. So we very well could be getting him in AEW soon. We'll just have to wait and see where all this plays out, but a lot of good talent hitting the market here. But back to the main event here. Like I said, these guys had a great match, Bryan Danielson and John Silver. Silver landed a cannonball, sent Talon out on the floor. Danielson landed on his feet on a German attempt and crushed Silver with a buzzsaw kick. Silver countered the Basaku knee and hit a German suplex bridge for 2. He went for the spin doctor throw, but Danielson raked his eyes and trapped Silver's head against his knee, raining down elbow strikes. Danielson then hit a Gotch-style pile driver and locked on some submission. The camera angle made it hard to see what the submission was for the win here. But I'm sure it was the crossface thing he does. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But anyway, after the match, Danielson listed all the Dark Order members whose head he kicked in, saying he'd do the same to Adam Page next week. He beat down John Silver until Adam Hangman Page ran out and attacked him, sending him packing. Page grabbed a mic and said, "Next week, I'm going to stomp the cowboy shit out of you," as the show went off the air. So, good go-home segment. Good build for Bryan Danielson throughout this entire month here leading up to this match against Adam Hangman Page. Again, I think we all can assume Adam Hangman Page is going to win this match and give Bryan Danielson his first loss in AEW, which is fine at this point. Danielson's been running roughshod. He's a veteran at this point, much like Punk. He can take a loss at some point. We'll see if Punk takes that loss against MJF, but I think that's where they're going with Danielson. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
What if Danielson's not going to win?
I mean, he's doing such great work, but I just don't think they'll cut off Adam Hangman Page like that. They better not.
Not after they've waited this long.
No. Bryan Danielson holding the belt someday, 6 months from now, a year, great.
It won't be right now.
I don't think they'll do it right now. I mean, this was supposed to be Jon Moxley's spot, in my opinion, but Moxley went into self-admitted rehab for his alcohol problem, and they needed a good heel to go up against Hangman Page, and Bryan Danielson is capable of doing so they called his number, and here we are. So I think that's all this is. It's going to be a good win for Adam Hangman Page. They're going to have a great match on the main event next week, and I can't wait to check that out at Winter is Coming. But if there's nothing else to add to that, I guess we'll end up this review here. That that'll do it for this week's AEW Dynamite recap and our Mike's Wrestling Fun Facts and Trivia. But the real question here is, though, guys, what did you guys think about the wrestling trivia? Did you guys know the answer to that question about Jay Lethal? Did you guys enjoy AEW Dynamite? And definitely let us know if you guys are anticipating winter is coming up here next week on Dynamite. So with that being said, if you're finding us for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications about when we put up new content right here on this channel. We do our weekly movie news show and our weekly AEW recap and Mike's Wrestling Fun Facts and Trivia show every Thursday here on the channel. So until our next video, guys, take care.
We about to turn it up.